सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं परमानन्दमाधवम्। सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्त गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। Second verse also we will sing together. जन्तूनां नरजन्म दुर्लभमतः पुंस्त्वं ततो विप्रता तस्माद्वैदिकधर्ममार्गपरता विद्वत्त्वमस्मात् परम्। आत्मानात्मविवेचनं स्वनुभवो ब्रह्मात्मना संस्थितिः मुक्तिर्नो शतजन्मकोटिसुकृतैः पुण्यैर्विना लभ्यते। So in the second verse, Shankaracharya has given the entire content of the text. Jantunam Narajanma is the first topic that we have seen, the importance and the rarity of human birth. Pumstvam, second topic was the humane qualities that one must have. Tato viprata tasmat vaidika dharma marga parata. Then actually vaidika dharma marga parata topic was taken where Shankaracharya explained about pravritti dharma a little bit, but nivritti dharma more. How we have to go for enquiry. That is the topic that was taken later. And the last topic that we have seen is viprata, the qualities that are required for a spiritual seeker. In other words, sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. Sadhana chatushtaya, the fourfold qualification that make a person an eligible aspirant. What were the four qualities that we have seen? Viveka, Vairagya, Samadhi Shat Sampatti and Mumukshutva. Each one was defined, how to develop, etc. Those points also we saw. If suppose some particular quality is not up to the mark, what is to be done? That also we saw. What will happen? That also we saw. So Shankaracharya in this way has completed the first major topic of Vedanta Shastra, and that is Adhikari Nirnaya. Adhikari Nirnaya. Adhikari Nirnaya means final culmination of who is an eligible student. Adhikari. So the second topic that comes in Vedanta is what? Adhikari Nirnaya has happened. The second topic is always Guru Upasadana. If a student is qualified, then such a student, such a seeker must approach a teacher, a guru, with humility, with attitude, etc. What all things are there? That is what we are going to see now. So, we are in verse number 32. Let us read the verse. Shankaracharya himself tells us that now Adhikari Nirnaya is done, Sadhana Sampatti is explained. Now such a seeker should approach a guru. Let us see verse number 32. First line we had seen with verse number 31 only. Swatma Tattvanusandhanam Bhaktiritya Pare Jaguhu. That line we had seen. Now the remaining portion. Please repeat. Ukta sadhana sampannaha Tattvajidnyasuraatmanaha Upasidet gurum pradnyam Yasmad bandha vimokshanam. Ukta sadhana sampannaha tattvajidnyasuraatmanaha upasidet gurum pradnyam yasmad bandha vimokshanam. Shankaracharya, very clear, simple Sanskrit. I think if you want to learn Sanskrit, you should study Shankaracharya's text. What is he saying? Ukta sadhana sampannaha. Sampannaha, one who is endowed with what? Sadhana. Sadhana, the means, the fourfold means that we have seen, Viveka, Vairagya, Shama, which Ukta, which just now I told. Ukta means that which was explained. Ukta sadhana sampannaha. A person endowed with these said fourfold qualification, tattva jidnyasuhu. Tattva jidnyasuhu. So, break the word. Tattva jidnyasu. Jidnyasa means what? We have seen earlier. Jidnyasa means jnatum ichha, desire to know. Desire to know what? Tattva. Tattva means the essence. Essence of what? Next word, Atmanah. Atmanah tattva jidnyasuhu. A person who is desirous to know the essence of the self. Atmanah. Atmanah tattva jidnyasuhu. So, jidnyasa, desire to know. Jidnyasuhu, a person who is desirous to know. Correct? And what is that person desirous to know? He or she wants to know tattva, essence. Essence, nature. Of what? Atman, of the self. Why? Because it is understood that the permanent happiness that I am seeking, I will not get it anywhere outside. I will get it only within me. So I must know my own self. With this conviction, now that person's tattva jidnyasa, that person's desire to know is directed where? Inwards. Directed inwards. Right? Ukta sadhana sampannaha atmanaha tattva jidnyasuhu. Such a person upasidet. Upasidet should approach. Upa means near. Samipe. The same word upa comes in Upanishad also. Guru upasadanam, we say upasadanam means what? Upa means near. Upasidet should approach, should surrender. Sharanam gachet. Okay. Student should approach. Whom? Gurum pradnyam. Pradnyam is adjective used for guru here. Pradnyam gurum. No, pradnya literally means what? One who is knowledgeable. Jnanam yasya. Prakarshena jnanam yasya. Pradnyam. Pradnya pariksha, etc. So many, in our school time, etc. for mathematics pradnya pariksha, Sanskrit pradnya. Not that kind of pradnya. Here, knowledge is of what? One who is established in that Brahman. Such a guru, to such a guru, the student must approach. Now, somebody will say, Vedji, how do we know whether that person is endowed, that person is established in Brahman or not? How do we know? See, earlier we have seen the topic, right? It is not that we are finding a guru, isn't it? Don't forget that ever. Our job as a flower is to open up, right? The moment we open up, the bee comes to pollinate. The guru comes in our life. Once we get the guru, we have to accept that person as our guru. And then what? Then surrender. So, Pradnyam Gurum here is actually not to tell that you should go and check whether that guru is Pradnya or not. That's not the point. But you see, as a what we say, propounder of a science, it is responsibility of Shankaracharya ji to also explain the qualities required for a teacher. See, he is telling a science. When he is telling a science, just as he is explaining the qualities required for a student to walk this path, as a responsibility, he is also telling us the qualities required for a guru. And that is what will happen in the very next verse. So, Pradnyam Gurum Upasidet. The student must approach, must surrender this guru who is Brahmanishta, who is established in the knowledge of Brahman. Why should one person do that? Yasmat. By which? By which means what? Either you can say by that surrender, or you can say by that guru. Bandha vimokshanam. There will be liberation from the bondage. Yasmad, from which or by which? Bandha vimokshanam. There will be liberation from bondage. So right now there is a limitation that is felt by all of us, that we feel that there is so much of sorrow, so much of limitation, so much of I don't know so many things, and I don't feel I am free. That limitation, that bondage will be removed. For that purpose, the student must surrender, approach a teacher and surrender. So, see, Ukta Sadhana Sampannaha Tattvajidnyasuhu Atmanaha Tattvajidnyasuhu Pradnyam Gurum Upasidet. Must approach a teacher, Yasmat Bandha Vimokshanam, by which one will get rid of this bondage. So now what is he doing? He has completed the topic of Sadhana Sampatti, Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti, right? He is starting the topic of Guru Upasadhana. He is connecting it by this verse. Now two questions come from this. What is that? Number one, you just said that Pradnyam Gurum Upasidet. So are there many types of gurus, among which I have to choose Pradnya Guru, that you go and what type of guru are you? Pradnya Guru. You Pradnya Guru? No. Then not this. No. Are there different types of gurus? Do we have to choose? No. Who is a guru? That is one question that comes up. What are the qualities that a guru has? Careful. We should not say what are the qualities that guru must have. Guru will have automatically. For a student, we said, for the seeker, we said what are the qualities we must have. So if we don't have, we have to possess, we have to attain them. You cannot use the same logic for guru and tomorrow find your guru and say, excuse me, I just read Sadhana Viveka Chudamani, and Vivek Chudamani says that you must have Shrotriya, Vrajana, etc. Please see what all things you have, and if you don't have, please take, okay. Otherwise, I won't be able to understand. No. It is not should have. It is would have. The teacher will automatically, a guru will automatically have these qualities, right? But Vedji, if the teacher already has the quality, then why are they mentioned? For us to understand how lucky we are to get such Guru. That's why the qualities of Guru are mentioned. So when we are studying the qualities of the Guru in the next verse, don't try to find out whether my Guru has these qualities or not. Just revel in the beauty that we are so lucky that we got a Guru which has these qualities. Why? Because the most important point is Guru is not a person. Please understand this point clearly. Guru is not a person. Guru is a principle, tattva. Principle, not school principal, not PAL, but PLE, principle. Principle means what? Guru is tattva. Now that tattva expresses through anyone, we worship that person as Guru. But Guru is not a person. And therefore, you see, you go back to the first verse of Vivek Chudamani. What was the first verse of Vivek Chudamani? Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tam Agocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmeham. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam is what? Is that supreme truth, that Brahman, that self, which is Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam, which is revealed through as the essence of the entire Vedanta. Tam, but agocharam, but it is not grasped by any other means of knowledge. That supreme self only is Govinda. That supreme self which is Paramananda, supreme bliss, that itself is Sadgurum. Isn't it? So that Sadguru is Supreme Brahman. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Guru is Sakshat Parabrahma. Don't take that Guru as some person. That Guru Tattva may express through a person for our benefit. And that's why you see the beauty of it. When we have different ways of worshipping different gods, different deities, etc., how do we worship Guru? We worship Guru by doing Guru Paduka Puja. Guru Paduka. Paduka means the sandals that the Guru is wearing. What does they represent? They represent the knowledge on which Guru is standing. So actually, we are worshipping that Guru Tattva only. So Guru is not a person. And therefore, please never ever get this thought that we have to find out whether a Guru is good or not. We are nowhere eligible to do any of such things. No student is eligible. And therefore never be in another kind of zone saying that Vedanta says there is only one reality. So what? So I am and Guru is same only. So why should I give respect to etc. to Guru? Same only. Guru, come, sit. Next to me, sit. Come, you also sit, I will also sit, and then we can. No. That utmost respect should be there for the Guru. It is said in one place that you can have Advaita feeling for everybody other than Guru. Never feel, essentially, yes, no doubt about that. The self in Guru and self in you is one and the same, no doubt about it. But as long as your Upadhi is there, as long as your body is there, the mind must respect the Guru. Okay? So the qualities that we are going to see now is not actually to check. Is not for confirming whether I have got good Guru or not, and then to have discussion. You know, my Guru is slightly better than yours. Hey, Guru doesn't have gradation. Guru is Tattva. It's beyond gradation. There is no gradation possible in Brahman, isn't it? And Guru is Brahman. No gradation is possible. But these qualities are for us to revel, to understand what kind of sacrifice the Guru is making in order to teach us. Okay? So that is the first topic which will come, which we will see in the next verse. And then how should we approach? The Guru is such a wondrous blessing of the Lord. How should we approach such a teacher? That will be seen from verses 34 to 40. So now in the next verse 33, we will see who is a Guru, qualities of Guru, not qualification, please understand, qualities of a Guru, right? Let us read verse number 33, please repeat. Shrotriyo vrajino kamahato yo brahmavittamah.
Shrotriyo vrajino kamahatayo brahmavittamah.
Brahmanyuparatah shantah.
Brahmanyuparatah shantah.
Nirindhana ivanalah. Ahetukadaya sindhuh. Bandhuranamatam satam. Shrotriyo vrajino kamahato yo brahmavittamah. Brahmanyuparatah shantah. Nirindhana ivanalah. Ahetukadaya sindhuh. Bandhuranamatam satam. What is said? 8 qualities are mentioned of the Guru. Shrotriyah, first quality. Avrajinah, second. Akamahatah. Akamahatah is one word, therefore I did not break it. If you see according to the chanting, Shrotriyo vrajino kama hatoyo. No, we cannot break it there. Akamahatah. Brahmavittamah. Fourth is Brahmavittamah. Brahmani uparatah. Fifth quality. Sixth quality is Shantah. That Shantah word is explained by an example. Nirindhana iva analah. That we will see. But sixth quality is Shantah. Seventh quality is Ahetukadaya sindhuh. Ahetukadaya sindhuh. And then Anamatam satam bandhuh. That is the 8th quality. Yah, one who is of this nature, one who has these qualities, to such a Guru you are supposed to approach or surrender. So now let us see one by one qualities. First is Shrotriyah. Shrotriyah means what? One who has studied the Shruti. One who has listened to the scriptures, Upanishads, Vedanta. So Shrotriya means what? One who is well versed in the scriptures. There is a famous quotation, famous mantra from Mundaka Upanishad, which explains about this exact step of Guru Upasadana. And the mantra says that a student who is qualified must approach a teacher of a particular nature with a proper attitude. So that actually this particular mantra from Mundaka Upanishad is only explained here in a different way. Right? So in Mundaka Upanishad it is said that a student who has got Viveka and Vairagya. Viveka and Vairagya, which is actually a upalakshana for all the remaining sadhana chatushta we have seen. Such a person should approach Samitpanihi, Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam Guru. Should approach with a proper attitude, should approach a Guru who is Shrotriya and Brahmanishta. These are the qualities that are spoken of in the Upanishads. That the qualities in a Guru is what? Shrotriya, one who is well versed in the scriptures, and Brahmanishta, one who is established in that knowledge of Brahman. Why these qualities are required? Because when the Guru himself is well versed in the scriptures, that Guru can guide me also using the same scriptures. So when I want to walk the path of spirituality, when I want to walk the path of knowledge, the Guru will be able to guide me because he is well versed in the scriptures. So Shrotriya explains that well versed in the scriptures. He can tell me the methodologies used in the scriptures, adhyaropa, apavada, methodologies, etc. are there. He can explain to me so that I can walk this path. Mauni Guru won't work for all of us. I am not saying Mauni Gurus are not there, but I am saying they won't work for us. Why? They won't work for us means what? We are not capable of understanding their silence, etc. Daya, the Sakshat, Dakshinamurti Bhagavan, we say no, Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam, we chant the verse, isn't it? That Sadashivas, that Dakshinamurti Bhagavan, he was like that, Mauna Vyakhya Prakatita Parabrahma Tattvam Yuvanam. He spoke in Mauna. Varsisthante Vasadrishi Ganaihi Avritam Brahmanishtahi Acharyendram Karakalita Chinmudramanandarupam Swatmarama Muditavadanam Dakshinamurti Mide. Yuvanam in a very form of a young ascetic. Dakshinamurti Bhagavan appeared in front of old Brahmanas and without speaking anything, just with this mudra, he gave knowledge and those old Brahmins understood. They got the knowledge. Mauna Vyakhya. The entire discussion happened in silence. Really? Is it possible? Not possible for us. Why? Because we will go there and suppose there is some Mahatma who is sitting in Mauna, we will keep wondering what to do. We don't know. First of all, we don't know how to remain in silence. We don't even know when somebody else is silent how to react. Because you know that you cannot ask the question because that person is in Mauna. So Mauni Guru may not work for all of us. Therefore it is said Shrotriya, one who is well versed in the scriptures and who can explain to us also the intricacies of the scriptures. Shrotriya, Avrajinaha. Beautiful. Avrajinaha means sinless. One who has got no sins, without any impure tendencies. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, Rahita. Eshanatraya Rahita, the three kinds of desires that are spoken of. Putreshana, Vitteshana, Lokeshana. He is without all these. Avrajinaha. Means what? He is not having some desires of his own, that nice, now I got one disciple, now I better, make use of this person to get maximum things. So, now I can relax, he will do all the work. No, he doesn't have any of such desire. When Pujya Gurudev, Swami Chinmayananji, went to Taponji Maharaj, because Taponji Maharaj was Gurudev's guru, went to study Upanishads. So went there and prostrated in Uttarkashi and said that Swami Shivananji has sent me, he is my sannyasa guru and he has sent me to study under you. So Taponji Maharaj said, very good. So you have come from Rishikesh. In 1949 we are talking about, okay. So at that time, to go from Rishikesh to Uttarkashi, you have to walk all the way. So 100 miles etc. distance you have to walk. So after reaching there, Taponji Maharaj said, okay, show me the letter. You said you have come from Shivananji Maharaj, show me the letter. Gurudev said, what letter? Shivananji Maharaj didn't give any letter. You didn't get any letter? Go and get letter. Go. Gurudev had to come all the way back to Rishikesh, get the letter and then go back. When he came back and told Shivananji Maharaj, I have come, Taponji Maharaj sent me to get letter. Shivananji Maharaj laughed and said, there is no letter required. Go. You tell him that there is no letter required. But Gurudev was, you are sure, no? Otherwise I will go there and again he will tell that letter has not come. He said, no, he just want to test you. Whether you really want knowledge or you think you want knowledge. If you really want knowledge, then you will actually come down all the way walking to Rishikesh and then go back. If we would have been there, first of all, we would not have reached Uttarkashi only. In between only somewhere we would have been happy or returned. Then when it is said that, go back and get, we would have gone back, never to return, saying that, this, such a person is there, and we start shouting also, what is this, you don't even explain the rule properly, you should have told me before, then before leaving from there only I would have got no, and what is this now you are telling me, and just to see whether that desire to know is strong enough or not. Why? Because it is not an easy path. It's not the easy knowledge that is being given. So had to be tested. Not that, nice, now in Uttarkashi, in calm, quiet, a cold place, I have got a disciple, I can send him for getting bhiksha, he will get bhiksha for himself also, for me also. No such desire. Avrajinaha. Next one also you see, akamahataha. Not afflicted by desire and selfishness. Not thinking about oneself. No such thought comes to the Guru. Guru sees whether the student is ready or not. If not, what should be done to make that student ready? In what way should I give knowledge? In what way should I treat so that the student will be ready? That is what the Guru sees. Himself is avrajinaha, sinless, akamahataha, not afflicted by any desire. And what? Brahmavit tamaha. See, Brahma is Brahman. Vit means one who knows. So, Brahmavit means knower of Brahman. Now, in Sanskrit, the degrees of comparison are indicated by certain words. Degrees of comparison, you understand? Comparative degree, superlative degree. So, Brahmavit means knower of Brahman. Brahmavittara. Tara word will be used for comparison. That among the two, he is a better. That better is used by word tara. But here you see word tama is there. Tama is used for superlative degree. Brahmavittama. He is the best among all the knowers of Brahman. So Brahmavit, Brahmavittara, Brahmavittama. See, 3 degrees. Okay, so Brahmavittama means what? Brahmavittama means is the best among knowers of Brahman. Best amongst means what? Is there any competition? All the knowers of Brahman come together. Now we will choose who is the best. No. What does it mean? Brahmavittama means Brahmanishtha. One who is firmly abiding in that Brahman. Brahmavittama means Brahmanishtha. You see, so Shrotriya and Brahmanishtha has come. Those two have come. Isn't it? Then what? Brahmani uparataha. One who is immersed in Brahman or withdrawn in Brahman. Uparama we have seen withdrawal, isn't it? Rama means to revel, uparama not to revel, to withdraw. But here uparataha, where Brahmani, in Brahman he is withdrawn, means what? The Guru always stays in that thought of Brahman. In Brahman itself. Why thought of Brahman? In Brahman itself. Brahmani uparataha. And what? Shantaha. Shantaha, absolutely peaceful. Calm. Veji. So the Gurus who are not calm are not Gurus. It's not outside thing that is being spoken of. Inside, how is he? Shanta. The same Guru, when starts to teach, may become absolutely magnificent, may become fully, what we say, all the acting, etc. may do, because that is to communicate the knowledge to the student. But inside, Shant. You see our Pujya Gurudev, when he will start explaining, his classes will be so strong, powerful and full of energy. But the same person, you see him for a moment with eyes closed, extreme calm. Shanta. To explain what kind of Shanta the Guru is, Shankaracharya ji gives one example. He says, Nirindhanaha iva analaha. Analaha means fire. Eva means like. Eva, like. Like means to show that I am giving a simile. So, like the fire, which is nirindhana. Indhana means fuel. No fuel is put in the fire. See, as long as you keep putting fuel in the fire, fuel means the wood, etc. You keep putting, the fire will keep blazing. But suppose the fire which is without any fuel, which has ended, how peaceful that fire remains. That is the state of this Guru. Shanta. Okay? Nirindhana iva analaha. And what? Ahetuka daya sindhu. Oh, it's the most important quality of Guru. Ahetuka daya sindhu. Daya means compassion. Sindhu means ocean. He is ocean of compassion. But what kind of compassion? Ahetuka. Without any cause. Without any reason. Means what? Not that the student has done something because of which the Guru has compassion for the student. No. Causeless compassion. Causeless compassion. Why Guru is doing so much for us? There is no reason. And you see, the Guru has walked this treacherous path, and reached that supreme Brahman and reached that absolute state of peace. And then again, he comes down to us to save us. You imagine what kind of sacrifice, compassion one must have. Gurudev has, I think, one place given very beautiful example. He says, suppose the child has gone out to play. Sunday morning, the child has gone out to play, and the father and mother are at home, and of course it is Sunday, so little late. The father is ready now, has taken bath, and after everything is gone, now the mother has gone to take bath, because she has to, take everybody's clothes and put, because father will not put his own clothes in the washing machine also nowadays. So she has to do that, and everything in the kitchen, etc., everything she has completed, and she has gone to take bath. She comes back, and at that very moment when she has come very clean, etc., outside, the child returns after playing outside in the rain, completely filled with all kinds of dirt possible. He has gathered everything on the body with the dirty clothes, with the dirty hands, and comes running and hugs mother. And mother, without any thought, hugs that child back. Try going to the father. Father with stick, hey, go out. But I took bath. You have not taken bath. You are dirty. Go first, take bath and come. No. Guru is like that mother, Daya Sindhu. Himself has purified himself and gone and realized, but he again comes back and becomes dirty with all of us, for all of us. That clearly requires absolute compassion. Without that, it is not possible. Just think of it, no? The person has done so much of tapasya and Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, entire path has walked, established in that meditative state, established in Brahman, and opens his eyes to answer our stupid questions. Swamiji, my mother-in-law is not listening to me. What should I do? Swamiji, I am not finding a good person. Whom should I get married to? Or that the Guru didn't get married. Why are you asking such stupid questions? But no, Daya Sindhu. So much of compassion. And causeless compassion. It is not that he is getting something in return for which he is having compassion. No. Ahetuka Daya Sindhu. That's the nature of Guru. No doubt he is Shrotriya and Brahmanishta, but remember, if a person is just well versed in the scriptures and established in the knowledge of Brahman, doesn't mean can become a Guru. Compassion has to be there, otherwise why will he open the mouth to give knowledge to the student? He will say, you learn whichever way you want, I will remain in that knowledge of Brahman. But Guru doesn't do that. Why? Ahetuka daya sindhu. It's an ocean of causeless compassion. 100 mistakes we do, Guru forgives every single mistake. Just like mother. Isn't it? So many times we have made mistakes. Mother forgives. Father may not. In whole life, father may continue to, this fellow, but mother cannot. Tameva Mata, you are like mother only. Oh Guru, ahetuka daya sindhu. And what last quality? Bandhu. He is like a bandhu. Bandhu means close relative, friend. Of whom? Anamatam satam. Of the noble people, satam, anamatam, who have surrendered. For all those who come and surrender, the Guru is like a close relative. That is the quality. Close relative means what? You can open up to the Guru, saying that this is actually the problem that I am facing in the spiritual life. What should I do? You don't feel necessarily all the time afraid of Guru. Of course, that because of the respect, that little fear is there for the Guru, and which should be there. Otherwise, we will take Guru for granted. Of course, so there is this respectful feeling of fear, but we are not afraid of telling what exactly we are feeling. Anamatam satam bandhuhu. Yah, one who is of such nature, one who has such qualities. Actually, the sentence is not complete. See, if you read the whole verse, Yah, one who is, and then the 8 qualities are given. Yah Shrotriyaha, Yah Avrajinaha, Yah Akamahataha, Yah Brahmavittamah, Yah Brahmani Uparataha, Yah Shantaha, Yah Ahetuka daya sindhuhu, Yah Anamatam satam bandhuhu. What? Next verse, we will complete the sentence and we will tell what one should do. Let us read verse number 34. Please repeat. Tamaradhya gurum bhaktya.
Tamaradhya gurum bhaktya.
Praufa prashraya sevanaihi.
Praufa prashraya sevanaihi.
Prasannam tamanuprapya.
Prasannam tamanuprapya.
Prached jnatavyamaatmanah. Tamaradhya gurum bhaktya prava prashraya sevanaihi prasannam tamanuprapya prached jnatavyamaatmanah. One who is of this nature, yah, and the 8 qualities which were explained, tam, to him, gurum, to that Guru, bhaktya aradhya. Aradhya, worshipping. Worshipping that Guru. Worshipping with what? Bhaktya. Bhaktya means with devotion. Bhaktya tam gurum aradhya. Worshipping that Guru with devotion. So worshipping means what? Not that, oh Guru, come here, sit. Shankaracharya said to worship. Now, so put flowers on him and then put water on him and then. Prava prashraya sevanaihi. Prava, with humility. With humility. Not with lot of ego. No, with humility. Prashraya, with devotion. Dedication. Sevanaihi, and with service. With these 3 things, you worship that teacher with devotion. Hmm? So this is now what Shankaracharya is doing. Shankaracharya is explaining to us Guru Upasadana. How should we approach? And remember, this how should we approach is not physical only we are talking about. We are also talking about mental. What should be, in English also you see very interestingly the word approach has got two meanings. I approach you. And with what approach are you approaching? You see, two meanings are there in English also. Both things are being explained. Literally also you have to go with humility. And that's why in that Mundaka Upanishad mantra it is said, Samit Pani, go with the sand, with the wood that is required for Havan, etc. Why? Because that indicates that I am ready to serve. Whatever is required in the ashram, the seva is to be done, I am ready to do that. And not just readiness, but you actually do it. So through prava prashraya sevana, through humility, through devotion, dedication, and through service, you worship the teacher. Why? Because only when you do this, you will be tuned to the Guru. Careful. Important point. Many times we will see that in many scriptures, etc., whenever we approach a teacher, we are asked to surrender and we are asked to serve. Why that service is required? So that we get in tune with the Guru. It's very important. Prashnopanishad, one of the Upanishads, 6 students approach the teacher. And there it says that, we have come, we want to know. So Guru says, okay, go and serve in the ashram for 1 year. So they served in the ashram for 1 year. After 1 year, one student gets chance to ask the question. Then Guru gives the answer. Then again 1 year, all of them are serving. Sometimes you say, what is this? We are Westerners. It is not required. You go and you say, teacher. Nowadays, they don't even call ma'am, sir, etc. They call by name. That is not our culture. In our culture, we are not supposed to take name of the Guru at all. Why? Because it is said that if we take the name, it will become Uchishta. The name will touch our lips, for pronunciation. How food, etc., whatever I have eaten, I don't share it with others. Like that name also you should not. So we are not supposed to take name of the Guru directly. That's why Shankaracharya, you will see, by saying that I am praising the Lord, he is taking the name of the Guru. He is not directly taking. Govinda Bhagavat Padacharya is not saying. He is using Govinda Bhagavan Vishnu to take name of the Guru. That is our culture. We say what? When you approach a teacher, you serve the teacher. Why? Because when we serve, we get that connection. And then when Guru gives knowledge, we immediately understand. Why? Because the tuning has happened because of my service. It's very important. Nowadays in educational field, etc., no respect is there for the teacher. Everything is changing, if you see. The classrooms are also changing now. The teacher is down, students are sitting up. This is Western culture, this is not our culture. So what we are supposed to do, approach the teacher and serve. And again, this serve is not physical, we are talking about only. Of course, physical service, but emotionally, mentally, intellectually also serve. So wherever we are right now, this Guru Upasadana is possible sitting at home also. What? You in tune with the Guru. Be in tune with the Guru. That's what is called as Prava Prashraya Sevana. And then what? Tam prasannam anuprapya. Anuprapya, finding, approaching. Tam, such a Guru who is prasanna, who is now pleased. Pleased with what? Pleased with your seva, pleased with your dedication, pleased with your humility. When that teacher is happy, then Atmanaha Jnatavyam Prichet. Prichet, the student should ask. See, you have approached the teacher, You have served the teacher, and when the teacher is pleased with you, then you ask. What ask? Guru, before sannyasa, did you get married? Don't ask stupid questions. In Hindi, there is a couplet which says, जाति न पूछे साधु की, पूछ लीजिए ज्ञान, मोल करो तलवार का, पड़ा रहने दो म्यान. It is said we should never ask a sadhu, a sannyasi, from what is his background, etc. You should ask about the knowledge. Why? Because if you want to give importance, you give importance to the sword, not to the cover of the sword. Cover is outside, how does it matter? What is inside is precious. The knowledge that the sadhu, sannyasi, guru has is precious. So what should one ask? Atmanah jnatavyam. Atmanah jnatavyam, ask about the self. Jnatavyam, which is to be known. Ask about that. Don't ask, what do you think nowadays about your political scenario of the world? What do you think? Who will win the World Cup? Is there chance for India to win the World Cup? Don't ask all these things. Worldly questions are not to be asked. Prichet jnatavyam atmanah. Ask about that self which is to be known. So you see, this is the process. You first become sadhana chatushtaya sampanna, endowed with the fourfold qualification. Then approach a teacher with humility, with dedication and readiness to serve. Serve the teacher. And when you find that the teacher is happy with your service to such a person, to such teacher, then you ask the question about the self. Now, Shankaracharya ji is so compassionate that he says that maybe it is difficult for you to understand what I am explaining in the verse. Therefore, he dramatizes the entire episode. Sometimes in movies, etc., you know that two people will be having a conversation, and one person is telling the story to the other person, and suddenly it goes into flashback and everything is portrayed in front of us. Isn't it? Then we understand better. Suppose he only is talking, there was one person and then that happened, then that happened. You may not be able to understand by one person speaking. So what happens? Suddenly it dramatizes. What? You go in flashback and the whole thing is acted out in front of you. That's what Shankaracharya ji does now from verses 35 onwards. Shankaracharya ji puts up a skit in front of us. What is a skit? The skit is that the student who has that sadhana chatushtaya sampatti now has approached a teacher. And what is the way the student communicates that he is in great trouble, he is in samsara, and how desperately he wants to get rid of it, and surrenders unto Guru and requests for the knowledge. And what does the teacher reply? Everything now is going to be in a drama format. So there will be Shishya Uvacha, there will be student will explain, and then the Guru will explain. And this section is one of the most beautiful sections of Vivek Chudamani, where see Shankaracharya's poetic aspect, he is a poet also, comes out when the student is explaining about the trouble that he is going through and the compassion of the teacher. The poetry just flows. We are lucky that we are studying this beautiful section. So now the student is approaching the teacher. What does the student say? Verse number 35. The meter changes. You see, immediately. Till now, simple Anushtup meter was going on. Tamara Degurum Bhaktya Prabhu Prashray Seva. Nice meter. Now the meter has changed. Why? Because the emotions are different. You see. Now the student is saying what? Verse number 35. Please repeat. स्वामिन् नमस्ते नतलोकबन्धो
स्वामिन्नमस्ते नतलोकबन्धो
कारुण्यसिन्धो पतितं भवाब्धौ
कारुण्यसिन्धो पतितं भवाब्धो
मामुद्धरात्मीयकटाक्षदृष्ट्या
मामुद्धरात्मीयकटाक्षदृष्ट्या
ऋज्व्यातिकारुण्यसुधाभिवृष्ट्या
विद्याधिकारुण्यसुधाभिवृष्ट्या
स्वामिन्नमस्ते नतलोकबन्धो कारुण्यसिन्धो पतितं भवाब्धौ मामुद्धरात्मीयकटाक्षदृष्ट्या ऋज्व्यातिकारुण्यसुधाभिवृष्ट्या. Beautiful. He says, Swamin, O Lord, O Guru, te namaha, prostrations unto you. O Swamin, namaste, prostrations unto you. Nataloka bandho, who are you? You are bandhu. You are a close friend, close relative. Nataloka, for all the people who have surrendered. You are like a friend to them. Nataloka bandho. Karunya sindho. Karunya sindho. O ocean of compassion. Karunya, compassion. Ahetuka daya sindhu was said. Same. He is using a different word. Karunya sindho. So it's actually all, if you see, Swamin, Nataloka bandho, Karunya sindho. These are all sambodhanas. O Lord, O Bandhu of all the people who are surrendered, O ocean of compassion, prostrations unto you. Te namaha. Now you are ocean of compassion, but what has happened? Patitam bhavabdhau. Aham, I am bhavabdhau patitam. I have fallen into bhava abdi, ocean of this samsara. You are ocean of compassion. I have fallen into this ocean of samsara. And therefore I am suffering. So what you do? To me, who is thus fallen into this samsara, this ocean of samsara, bhavabdhau patitam mam, to me, uddhara. Please lift me. Save me. I am drowning in this ocean of samsara. Please lift me. You see, when you are drowning in the ocean, the only way that you can be saved is somebody lifts you, isn't it? Always one joke Guruji tells, that one boat was sinking, so all the people were in the water, and one intelligent person asked the captain of the ship that, which is the closest land? How far is the closest land? So the captain said 4 kilometers only. So the person said, very nice, 4 kilometers, I can swim. Asked which direction? He said downward direction. In the ocean, the closest land is downward. On all sides, you can't swim across the ocean. Bhavasagara, the ocean of samsara, is also like that only. And we are already fallen. So what you should do? Uddhara. See, uddhara, the word ut is the upasarga which is used to show upward movement. Uttishta. In Sanskrit, uttishta means get up. Uttishta means to sit. Uttishta, don't sit, get up. So that ut is to show that upward movement. So please lift me from this ocean of samsara where I have fallen. Please lift me. Why should Guru take all the trouble of lifting you? First of all, he should come there and then lift you, and already you are so hefty and taken all the weight of all the world around you. Why should? No, Guru, please. You don't have to do anything. What? Mamuddhara. How you should lift me? Atmiya kataksha drishtya. Drishti. Drishti means you just look at me. With that look, you save me. but that means Guru has to look at you, no? No, but don't even move your face. You don't even have to look at me by turning all the way. No. Atmiya, one's own, kataksha means eye is there, aksha means eye. Kata means end of the eye. Without moving, just look at me with side glance. Don't even do anything. Just look at me. With that look, save me. See, Atmiya, one's own. Kataksha means side glance, drishtya. By that, you save me. Why? Just if Guru looks at you, will you be saved? Yes. Why? Because that look, that side glance of the Guru is what? Atikarunya sudhabhivrashtya. Rijvya means effortless. That side glance is ruju. Ruju means effortless. And at the same time, it is what? Atikarunya, extreme compassion. Sudha. Sudha means nectar. Abhivrishti means downpour. Not just rain. Vrishti means rain. Abhivrishti means downpour. Means what? He is telling that one look of you is downpour of nectar of compassion. Extreme compassion. Abhivrishti means downpour. So, O Guru, your one look is sufficient. Why? Because your one look is like a shower of nectar. And once that look falls on me, my job is done. Why? Now I am saved. But O Guru, please look at me. Swamin namaste, nataloka bandho, karunya sindho, patitam bhavabdho, mam uddhara, atmiya kataksha drishtya, rijvya, atikarunya sudhabhivrashtya. O Guru, please just look at me with that side glance of yours, which is like a shower of nectar of extreme compassion. And with that, please save me who has fallen into this ocean of samsara. Now, please remember this metaphor. This metaphor of the student, of all of us. Student means what? All of us being in samsara, fallen in the ocean of samsara, drowning in it, persecuted by the samsara, and Guru's side glance being the shower of nectar. Hold on to this metaphor because Shankaracharya will himself explain it further, elaborate it further after 2-3 shlokas. Okay. So with this attitude, one has to go. That, O Guru, I am nothing and you are everything. And your one glance can save me. But, O Guru, what? Don't delay. Don't say that one side glance, no, I will give at any point of time. No. Why you should not delay? Because I am in a terrible situation. What is that terrible situation? That we will see in the next class. Next verse, the student, the Shishya, the disciple, tells what a terrible situation he is in. And he is not talking about terrible situation with respect to the world. That, I have no job and my wife is one side and my mother is on another side and they all eat my head every day. And in between this child also is, taking all the money and then, no. He is not talking about all this. He is explaining how this samsara is persecuting him. And how Guru alone can save and Guru should hurry to save. Okay, that's what he says. We will see in the next session. All right. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।